Hello and welcome to another 10 wins Dooley video. Now for today's build, we're running a pulse rifle build, which is a very strong build in my opinion. So here in the early game, we get an early supply cache skill, which should feed real well into our economy throughout the game. So that's the early pickup here. And for the first fight, we get quite lucky. Our opponent, the Jules, only has 2 items for some reason. So yeah, we just dispatch her easily because of our item advantage. We don't really have a strong board at this point, but you know, it's strong enough for this very first day. Alright, now into day 2. Same old strategy as always, it's just trying to build our economy up as much as we can, really. Early game, as a Dooley main, I tend to tank. But I do think we're strong enough to take on the ventriloquist. So we go ahead and just about take him down. Maybe we got a bit lucky there, but you know, we take everything we can. Here we go for the launcher core, because it's very strong and we have the launch pad item, the thing that makes stuff fly, so that just really helps. And now into the day 2 fight. We've got somewhat evenly matched boards, in my opinion. Scaling, I think, yeah, it's just too strong. The nice lucky 29% crit at the end there to round off the fight. Very nice. On to day 3, you know, same old. We're still trying to, well, I say we're trying to build an econ, but I just spent 15 gold on adding 10 damage to my weapons, which I think might make a small difference in the early game. You know, might make it so we're strong enough to just pull out that 3rd day win. We also hit a smoldering tool, which is gonna form part of our core build, main end game build at the end. And here I'm really surprised. Yes, that gold axe. Now that gold axe, the battle axe, does a lot of damage. We're just not scaling fast enough for that, and yeah, he almost immediately dispatches us. It's kind of crazy. A little bit unlucky, but it is what it is. So now we're back to just building my econ. We're zooming through these monster battles. Still a very basic, you know, classic Dooley build where you get the claw arm and you try to get a haste item, and it just, that's like your early game scaling, really. It's hard to pull that into late game because it's just, it ramps up too slow, basically. So yeah, here we get real lucky. We run into a gold merchant and we find our plasma rifle in day 4, which is kinda huge. Plasma rifle, you know, gold items in day 4 in general, kinda huge. So, you know, I'm still thinking here, do I go for it? Do I spend my hard-earned cash for this? And well, as the title alludes to, we do take it. Now that we've got the plasma rifle, I'm thinking, do I want any other gold item here? The Z sword, you know, I pick it up because it's really strong, but I don't put it in quite yet. I don't think my board is strong enough with those two items in yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and go into the next fight with the board that we've been using for a while now. I think our board would have been strong enough to beat this if I had positioned my items slightly differently. Yeah, that bilge worm, when your enemy uses the leftmost item, and like, it just had a lot of damage buff in that item, and my smoldering tool was, you know, triple casting every time it was used. So it's slightly unfortunate with positioning of items. But I think we could have won. We could have probably won that if I had positioned it better. So at this stage of the game, I decide, you know what, we lost last fight. I guess it's time to change it up. Transition, get some gold, move on from that early game build. And I'm also considering the Atlas Stone here, because Dooley has a lot of charge items. And with the Atlas Stone, you could really have some crazy damage on Dooley. So I'm really thinking on picking it up. And I do end up picking it up. You could always, you know, transition to a high charging build where we charge the Atlas Stone and just have it like casting over and over and over. Just delete the enemy that way. So I hold on to that. Now we're back to going through the motions towards the end of day 5, entering day 6 soon. Get a little bit lucky here. So we sell shipment into a business card. So we get a really early gold business card, which, you know, it's basically what's gonna drive our economy for the rest of this run. Very strong item to get relatively early. Be careful. So this is our first fight with the pulse rifle. Or is it the plasma rifle? So just seeing how it handles the builds. And I mean, it's scaling. It's not disgusting, but it's working. And that's the important part, you know. It's not making us lose prestige. Alright, into the day 6 fight. So day 6 was somewhat uneventful. No big pickups, no nothing. So we just kind of hard econ that. And yeah, we're into the next fight. Not much has changed in our build, but it's still it's working. Right, it's strong enough to take out other people's boards. It's scaling nicely. It's scaling much harder than the claw. Yeah, I pick up the atomic clock here because I had the ammo item, and I always want to make the atomic clock work. I think it's kind of broken if we get it working right. It's very hard to pull off though. Maybe one of these days there'll be an atomic clock video out here on the tubes. So here we pick up advanced aesthetics, which will basically guarantee all our items will get to gold at this stage of the game. And it's a very strong very strong upgraded skill. If we can get the upgraded skill merchant and get it to diamond here, then we basically have a full board guaranteed to hit diamond. There's also a sign to start clearing up our inventory, right? No more hoarding stuff that we might not use. And just making sure the upgrades hit the most impactful items. So into the day 7 fight here against another Karnov. It's got a pretty strong build, but it's not scaling hard enough. I think he got a little bit unlucky as well. So we take that win. On to the next day. We're gonna pick up Dooley because I'm not convinced yet with the plasma rifle scaling. I'm not completely convinced. I'm still open to a transition to a Dooley. This fight I got a lucky crit, so it wasn't definitive of how strong this build was quite yet. Now the reasoning behind playing Dooley is we have the cooldown reduction from the Z sword that hits, like, that removes basically 4 seconds of cooldown from it, which is kind of huge. And then we've got 3 small items with a relatively short cast time to charge up the Dooley. So yeah, the reasoning here is just, and as well as the Z sword having multicast, which also charges the Dooley. So I was thinking maybe there's something in here, you know. Everything except for the core charges the Dooley. And I mean it does damage. It's just not convincing damage, right? It's not fast damage. It's enough to win this board. Like, that was a horrible board from the Vanessa. I believe she used Wink. Cause what am I looking at? What is that? You know? Oh, and on this level up, level 10 level up, we hit a Fury Enhance, put it on the floor, and at this point I'm convinced that the Dooley is just it's not as strong as the plasma rifle. So yep, instant change. And now we're starting to have something that looks like our final board. I go for the upgrade on my tool, simply because, you know, 3-second cooldown, great, sure, don't mind if I do. I need it anyways to have the smoldering tool go on a triple cast, and then we hit a yo-yo here. And this yo-yo is just, it's gonna cast every single time I use either the core or the smoldering tool, and it's gonna charge my core as well. And it's every time my core gets charged, there's more burns, and the plasma rifle just scales, which is huge. Yeah, everything is really coming together here. Hit the core upgrade. Oh, I think I missed the upgrade on the advanced synthetics as well. So advanced synthetics, we hit diamond here on that. So that's gonna guarantee all our items basically reach diamond here. And it's also a sign, it's a signal to start clearing up our inventory. You know, whatever we're not using, we're gonna sell straight up. Cause we want the diamond enchant to hit whatever we're using, which at this moment in time is the plasma rifle, the Z sword, the yo-yo, and the smoldering tool. And I'm deciding on whether I want to keep this Atlas Stone, which I don't. You know, I needed the econ. And yeah, we've reached a part of the build where we're full committing to this plasma rifle. So again, we reached a point where we had to clear the board, clear the inventories, make sure the upgrades hit where it needs to be hitting, make sure advanced synthetics is working for us. And here we're just buying up tech and tools, and we hit the upgrade on the plasma rifle. Diamond plasma rifle. Very strong. Lots of damage. Now that I'm confident that we're basically on our final build, it's just, you know, buying food stuff, gumballs, chocolates, whatever to enhance, to make us stronger for the next fight.
Bring her about! I've got another salvo with me.
Why must you trust?
Yeah, now we're just going through the motions. Farming EXP whenever we can. We did a very strong, almost I would say it's very unstoppable. We get wake up call as well, which is huge. You know, that's our haste. Whenever you use a small item, haste or burn or poison or any other of these items, which is basically a whole board. So we get hasting on our whole board. Yeah, and it's paying dividends. Look at that. Lovely. And here we hit the Plains of Eden. Restorative enchant on a plasma rifle, our true scale, like our only scaling item. And I didn't rate it as high at first. I was thinking maybe there would be a better enchant somewhere down the road. But I'll quickly find that this heal enchant would save our lives more than once. So here it didn't necessarily save our life quite yet. Enemy's board wasn't that strong. Onto our day 13, which could be our final day. Again, no changes to the board. I think it's very strong right now. Very low cooldowns and everything. Dooley's crypt for 10% max health. Great. And into our last, or maybe not our last fight, but probably our last fight. Very strong lollipop build. And this is where the heroes really come in clutch. She got us to 250 HP there. But we at this point we skilled way too hard. All her damage just gets instantly healed up.
Sometimes I lose track of all these arms.
And we just about pull out the win there. Thanks to that restorative enhancement on our plasma rifle. And that wraps up the 10 wins on Dooley for this plasma rifle run. So this is the overview of our build. Three small items on the left. I mean, we also have the Nitro, which I don't think I've mentioned yet. Nitro really came in huge. 3-second cooldown, charges other items for another item for 2 seconds, burns both the enemy and myself. Huge item. And yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching.